What if the hardest adventure is the one that takes you back home? What if healing isn't about fixing anything? A few months ago, I came face to face with a hard truth. By avoiding seeing my family for years, I wasn't just rejecting them, I was rejecting parts of myself, parts I thought I had to outrun in order to move forward. Life isn't always a straight destination. Sometimes we gotta go a roundabout way to get where we're headed. For much of my life, I felt like I was swimming upstream, meeting resistance every time I pursued something I wanted. Often, I didn't even know exactly what I was chasing. I was moving forward without a clear destination in sight. I don't know if this is operator error or map error, and I should have pulled out a paper map. I ended up out in the middle of a cornfield, which is likely in Kansas. Maya Angelou once said, "You can't really know where you're going until you know where you've been." So last week, I did something I never thought I would. I went back home to Kansas. And what unfolded turned out to be the hardest and most healing adventure of my life. This is a little anticlimactic. I've been thinking all day about when I cross the Kansas border and what that will feel like. Expected to make it sort of monumental, like I would get out, take a photo, really just feel the moment. And while that would be a beautiful ceremony to mark, and the funny thing is I think I'm already in Kansas. And I think the thing to note here is just not that big of a deal. I can hold space for experience of what this process feels like. Being out here in this flat land and out of my beloved mountains and desert, going towards some sticky feelings with family. But ultimately, a state line is a state line. The weight that I put on crossing that line, holding on to all of that fear, anger, and then I crossed it and nothing changed. I don't feel different. My world didn't fall apart. It's a story we're creating. It had been 7 years since I'd been back. But for the first time, I didn't want to rush through Kansas. I wanted to approach it with curiosity, take my time, see it all with new eyes. So I took the Backroads. And what I found there, on both the Backroads and in my past, surprised me more than I could have ever imagined. Thinking just now about how much we have to train our minds to gratitude. It's so beautiful outside. Look at this lake and the light on the water and the sunrise. It's so nice. There's red-winged blackbirds singing. There's fish jumping. Something swimming in the distance. I can't quite see. It might be an otter. A little steam rising off the water. It's like a classic spring morning. Although I haven't done a lot of Kansas camping, but I guess this is what camping in Kansas in the morning is like. And if that's so, it's pretty beautiful. There's some ducks. There's also a generator across the way. There's a camper over there. When I first got out of my car and came outside, I was like, oh, it's so beautiful, but the generator, and I was kind of fixated on the generator. But there's so much beauty. Do you hear those ducks? They're geese. They're geese, Canada geese. So nice. Not used to camping in campgrounds, and a big piece of that is because you don't hear generators. As the Stoics like to teach us, we can flip it, right? It's nice that there's other people here enjoying camping. That's so nice that other people want to be outside. Oh, now there's a robin that just came to my camp. That's got to be good. And I have two really exciting things to show you today as we explore a little bit of Kansas on my way to facing shadows with family. We're going to take our time. I crossed more train tracks in a day than I've seen in a lifetime. Each one felt like a crossroads in my life, tracks of possibility, stretching in both directions. And above it all, the full moon, high in the sky, lighting my way. And then Kansas shocked me and showed me beauty I never expected to find. This is really cool. I think the most fascinating thing about it is how there's nothing anywhere around here. How behind me it's just cattle and flat fields, and all of a sudden there's these sandstone towers. Pretty wild, actually. My old stories about Kansas were flat. But this trip cracked something open in me that I didn't think would ever change. And maybe that's what freedom really is. Letting yourself be surprised. Yet with all that beauty all around me, there was a tightness in my chest I couldn't shake, a discomfort I couldn't ignore. Underneath it all was this truth: to be fully present now, you must first make peace with your past. And sometimes that means letting go. My whole life, I longed for a specific kind of love from my parents. The kind that sees all of you and loves you, not in spite of who you are, but because of who you are. But the truth is, I never offered my parents that kind of love. And more importantly, I never gave it to myself. As I drove further east, two parts of me surfaced, calling out for attention. A 10-year-old girl, scared and sad, still stung from the day her dad mocked her for placing 12th in a swim meet. And an 18-year-old, furious and ashamed, angry that her parents couldn't be different, afraid to express herself, shaped by fear. As I sat with these parts of me, I saw my shadow, the version of me I rejected for years, the one who believed she had to change to be worthy of love. And in that moment, I made a choice. I chose to love my parents exactly as they are, and in doing so, I started to see myself differently too. I realized the root of my anxiety wasn't just about visiting home. It was that I had spent years needing my family to change, needing my past to be different. Because deep down, I believed if it had been different, I would be different. So I asked myself, who would I be if I let it all go? And in that space, I found freedom. Somewhere along those Kansas backroads, I finally saw it clearly. I don't need their understanding before I can feel whole. I'm already safe. I'm already strong. I'm already rooted in love. I'm already free. So I'm done fixing myself. I'm here to live. Now, with the Kansas wheat fields behind me, I'm back in the Utah desert, where my heart always wants to be each spring, cooking beautiful meals, driving down red dirt roads to camp with friends, walking with the sunrise, and finally, letting what I love be enough.